Welcome everybody. Welcome to the first strategies, tactics, and boost show of this season. Uh, we are off to the 2023-24 season of F1 class. We have a whole different game in our hands. We have a game that is still, let's say, under development. So uh, I'm not going to be, oh, do this. This works. No. We haven't raced everywhere. We haven't raced a lot in all tracks. Everything is changing. I have played a little more than 200 races, and I have constantly changing my setup, my drivers. So whatever we say is what we know until now. Further down the road, we are going to be more specific, but at the moment, we're going to see how we must approach our tracks and not so much which is the best strategy, the best boost. We have many different things to take in mind, so we can see which is the best for every track. And don't forget, some players are in Series 1, Series 3, Series 7, Series 11, Series 12 maybe. It's a little bit of everywhere, everybody everywhere, with different setups, different team scores. So we have boosts that we don't know if they work so well, or everything has changed. So today we're going to see Emilia Romagna, Imola, GP, the qualifying round. We're going to see the tracks, and I'm going to try and help you decide which is best for you. So, first of all, let's see our tracks. And as we can see in our qualifying round, we are racing 2 times in Imola, one dry and one, we don't know, maybe a wet race. Different strategy, different approach in raining this season. Everything has changed. We'll talk about it. For Imola, for Silverstone, which is the second race, and with 62% chance of raining. Third race is Netherlands, Zandvoort. As you can see, very cold in Zandvoort. Take that in mind for your tires. And finally, again, as we said, Imola with a very big chance of raining. Low temperatures. This means that we can keep our the degradation of our tires would be less rapid, but at the level our drivers are at the moment, okay, it's a little bit, it's it's a nightmare to decide what to do. Anyway, so here we are, and okay, excuse me, that was always the same mistake. Okay, we have an issue here. Let me fix this. I cannot show you my phone. Okay, we're going to fix this in just a second. Let's start by seeing our first track, which is, of course, Imola. And now we can forget Dead Fast Kavai and everything of last season. Okay, here we are. Great. Imola. Before seeing our strategies in Imola, let me show you my setup. As you can see, speed, cornering and reliability, it's a little bit higher than power unit. And my two drivers at the moment, Leclerc and Hamilton. Leclerc with a very big issue, 66 race start. Sometimes even when I use boost, a race start boost on Leclerc, he doesn't, in series 10 that I am now, he doesn't get a perfect race start. So it's a little bit of an issue here, but not so big at the moment. I don't know later at higher series and in champions if it will be an issue. We'll see. So, Imola. Imola hasn't changed as a track. It combines speed and cornering. This is how we're going to talk about tracks this year. There is no grip, there is no acceleration, there is speed and cornering. So it's a track that combines speed and cornering. First sector, the red sector, is where we have lots of speed. Blue and yellow sectors 2 and 3, cornering, we have to be fast in corners. So what do? After a lot of discussions we had with other players, other content creators, we have come down to the conclusion that maybe speed boost doesn't have, well, speed boost doesn't have the impact they had last season. Forget dead fast, flying with dead fast or eclipse, but cornering boosts seem to be more effective. It's more obvious. We see them more effective. I don't know, but they seem to work better. So, Emilia Romagna. If you are at the back of the pack, do the undercut, and it will go like, now we don't have fuel. Okay, so do the undercut, first stint with soft, don't push at all, nothing. Just stay on yellow, get in your second lap, after your second lap, do the pit stop. When you get out with mediums, and we need mediums because soft cannot do 3 laps here without conserving, and we need to go in after the second lap, put on mediums, and third lap push a lot whenever you can, push for your at your third lap, and then fourth and fifth lap just go on yellow, and maybe on the red sector, if you don't have cars chasing after you, you can use the blue button. We don't have any green button now, we have the blue arrows, the blue button. Press the blue button, because on straights, when you conserve, you get higher recharging. So lap 3 we push, lap 4 and 5 we get back some of our power, we recharge probably lap 6 the same, and then at lap 7 and 8 we are fully powered to engage again in in fighting for better positions. Uh, that's more or less the plan if you are at the back of the grid. And now let's see. For me, one of the best boosts that we have in our hands this year, this season, is this one, Merlion. And as you can see, Merlion, for tracks like this, for tracks that are, it's a combo track, cornering and speed. 6 in speed, 10 in cornering, great boost, great, because it boosts both attributes that we need in this track. And of course, we are doing 2 pit stops, so a little bit of a faster pit stop, it's a plus. Of course, Koopa, another very good um, boost, especially for tracks that we need cornering. As you can see, it gives us a very good race start. If you have a driver like Leclerc who doesn't do good starts, Koopa in tracks like this, Japan, Netherlands, is a great boost because it will give him a good start, a good race start. It's great in cornering and it helps in overtaking. Another of my favorite boosts this season, Koopa, which more or less the same is Prince, the same boosting in race start and cornering, but here instead of overtaking we have defending. And last but not least, you can see tune in. Here we are. It's like Merlion, a combination of speed and cornering. Okay, with less effect in cornering and speed, and much more effect in our pit time, but yet still a very good boost for tracks that are combo tracks like this one, like Bahrain, like Silverstone, like Austria, tracks like this that need both speed and cornering. So now, if your setup needs lots of cornering and you have speed, go with Koopa. As you can see, Merlion, yes, you can go with, with Merlion, of course, plus 10 in cornering. If you lack race start, your driver lacks race start, then cornering and race start and overtaking for Koopa. And don't forget that you can choose the same boost in for your drivers. So now we have to decide, and we have boosts to decide what we're going to use depending on our driver, on our setup, and on depending the track. This track needs speed and cornering. If your car has one of them, boost the second attribute, and if your driver misses race start or overtaking, there are boosts that combine all of that. So take your weaknesses take your weaknesses and find the boost that will make them, let's say, disappear. Okay, so let's go Now, this is the strategy for wherever we are in excuse me. Man. This is the strategy for wherever we are in the track, at the top of the grid, at the back, in the middle of the grid. I have tested everywhere. We start with softs. Probably we push in the first lap, not so much just to get ahead or just to stay P1, P2, and then we just uh, go on green, on on yellow, recharging um, our power unit. Maybe we conserve a little bit because 3 laps in Imola is not easily done um, at this point, at this level of our drivers. It's not easily done. We need some conserving. It's not bad. We are with softs. Don't be afraid to conserve with softs. Be afraid to conserve with hards, not with softs. By the way, never conserve with hards. Anyway, so first lap we push a little bit to gain some positions or to maintain our high position, P1, P2, P3, okay. Then go on yellow and some blue for the second and third lap, and then on our second stint we are with the medium compound, because whenever we see, depending on our opponent and how the race goes, but we are ready to push whenever it's needed. I would like to say that don't avoid pushing the whole power at once. Try to do it only when needed. In this second stint, we will both push when needed and conserve to get back power when needed. So when we go in our last stint with the fastest compound, softs, and a full power unit, we are ready, especially against a real player, to give a fight. Don't forget this season the game doesn't end in the second, in the third lap. Until the last lap, things might change. So, in order to be ready, we need to have in our last laps as much power as we can, and if we can, the fastest compound on our car. It would be the best choice. So, again here, as you can see, Merlion, of course, but I'm introducing 3 other boosts that are very good in tracks with corners. So let's see them. Let's see Herald. You see why I would really love to use Herald, let's say in Leclerc, plus 10 in race start. This boost will make him almost equal with the race start of Hamilton, which is 78. And then we have 6 in cornering and 4 in overtaking. So very nice. We get what we want for this track. Of course, there is always hook. Here we're going to get less boosting in our race start, but then in cornering will make our car extremely fast in sectors 2 and 3. And let's see Kawai, which have changed a lot since last season, but again it's a very good boost. Maybe not one of the top boosts, maybe, as it was last season, but it's still a very good boost. 8 in cornering and 6 in race start. And maybe in Imola it's not our first choice, but in Japan or in Singapore or in Netherlands, it would be an obvious choice because all we need there is cornering. So, and now, I don't like it. I have seen players doing and using this strategy. I really don't like it. It's the only way to do one pit stop if you want one pit stop, but hards, especially at this level of cars and drivers, are really very difficult to manage. Use hards only when needed. And in Imola, I would say no, don't use hards. Softs and medium, two pit stops, and it's okay. But for those of you that want to do one pit stop, choose maybe Taurus, Skull, or Deadfast better than Merlion here because it will, let's see, Skull with 10 in with 10 in speed, it will make hards go faster. And when we have hards on our car, it's nice to have some boosting in our power unit because we don't want to conserve with hards. It's a disaster. Everybody is overtaking us. So we need some boosting in our power unit to make it by itself recharge faster. This is why a very good choice is Taurus with plus 10 in um plus 10 in power unit. This means that we won't need to conserve with hards in order to recharge our power unit, but we will at least be on yellow. And of course, plus 8 in speed makes us fast enough for Imola. Okay, let's go now. Wet race. Wet races. Forget about wet races like we did last season or the seasons before. In fact, there are no wet races anymore. What we do in dry races, we do the same in wet races with only one exception. The compound. Wets are not soft. Most of the times they last as long as the hards or sometimes the mediums. So the strategies here sometimes, not sometimes, many times are different because of how long the compound lasts. So it would be a good choice. As you can see, you will see the same boosts. There are no wet boosts. We can overtake in rain. We can drive fast. It's like going in a dry race, but the compound it's like running on hards. But everybody's running on hards. So it's everybody is equal. You're not on hards, and some other cars with softs or mediums are faster than you. Everybody's on hards, and then you see what's the best strategy. Again, we can do two pit stops. Same strategy, as you can see, same boosts, but probably I would really like this one if it rains. Not probably, this one if it rains. 4-4, one pit stop, and Tsar is back. And as you can see, plus 10 in tire management. Tire management is not the same as last season, at least till now, but we need this plus 10 so we can do 4 laps with wets and be able to push. We have 6 in cornering and some defense, some defending, so Tsar a very good choice here. And of course, who has Movember? As you can see, plus 4 in tire management. It would be a little bit more difficult to um, to do 4 laps, but you can do it. We are just going to push less than other times, and as you can see, plus 10 in cornering. This means that we are going to be very fast in sectors 2 and 3. And of course, let me tell you, in this strategy, we push the red button at the beginning of the race to try and win some positions. Then we just go on yellow, we recharge and attack only whenever is needed, or defend whenever is needed, and try to have lots of power and tires in the last lap, in the last 1.5 lap, not only 1 lap, in 1.5 lap at least. So because there we are going to push more if we have the ability and of course if needed. Okay, let's go Silverstone, another mixed, another combo track with cornering and speed needed. So let's go to our last. First of all, let's see our last strategy. I have seen lots of players doing one pit stop, hard, medium, 4-3, one driver, and the second driver 3-4, hard and medium. Nothing else can do it. At least at this level, if our drivers get level 6, level 7, epic, maybe we will see something different. But now, I believe most of us have epic level. The top drivers, we have our epic series 12 at level 4. So, hard and medium if you want one pit stop, and if you want to do this, then a very good choice is Street Shark. We don't need maximum speed here because we cannot reach maximum speed in Silverstone. Firework is a very good choice also, with overtaking and speed and a very good race start. And of course, as I said, Merlion is always going to be, and Koopa is always going to be on our list when we have combo tracks. So I have seen lots of players playing this strategy. I wouldn't recommend it. 9 out of 10 times I won these races by doing 2 pit stops and not 1. So for me, if you ask me, this is the way to go. Your driver that is at the highest position, soft, medium, 2, 2, 3. And here you can see again Merlion, Koopa, Prince or Movember, and we push at the beginning of the race to get as high as we can. We do our first pit stop probably without a service. We get out for our second stint, not pushing so much, only when needed and if needed. We recharge 2 laps, we are recharging with softs. Softs are fast by nature, so we don't need to push even more. They are fast. In the big straights of Silverstone, we're going fast without even need to push the red button. And then in our last stint with mediums, we push when we need, and the last 1.5 lap we have the power unit and the tires to push, to defend or to attack to our opponents. And for the second driver, exactly the opposite. Mediums for the first stint for your second driver. Here we push in the beginning of the race again to gain some positions as much as we can, as many as we can, and then we stay on yellow and only pushing when we have a gap in front of us. Not in the straights. In the straights you don't need to push, you are fast. We push in the slower parts of the track, in the corners, and so for the first thing we push in our first lap, and then mainly in because many drivers will go second lap to pit, our third lap we push to make a gap with the drivers that have pitted and go in for our pit stop. We won't have power unit at the beginning of fourth lap, but we don't care because we are on softs. The second stint we're not pushing at all, just go on yellow, and sometimes in the straights conserve because it will recharge your power unit faster. The power unit recharges very fast when we are on straights, and we conserve on straights. So blue button on straights and we recharge very fast. And by doing this, our third stint, 2 laps with softs, we can push whenever we want and whenever is needed. So for this strategy we need Street Shark, not only because of the race start and the speed, but because of the overtaking. We are coming from the back, so we need overtaking. This is why we like Firework too, and of course Herald and Hook. Let's see them. No speed, but we are fast in corners here and overtaking. As you can see, Street Shark and Firework is being fast, having speed. Herald and Hook having good cornering, but always try to have some good overtaking. It's important for when you have lots of cars in front of you. Now, okay, we have seen that. If it rains, well, if it rains, I have never raced this season the Silverstone with rain. Never. I have played a lot. Not once, believe it or not, not once with rain. So my guess is good as yours. I would easily like to see again the same strategies, as you can see, for both drivers, but maybe this time this strategy 4-3 and of course 3-4 for our second driver, maybe it would be the right one if the wets can do 4 laps with the wet compound. Of course, if we are afraid that we cannot make 4 laps with the wet compound in Silverstone, then we can use Tsar, which will make us fast in corners and give us some extra tire. I'm thinking if it rains in Silverstone, I'm thinking one of my drivers, unless I am lucky enough to test it in duels, but if not, I'm thinking if it rains in the qualifying round of the GP, at least one of my drivers to be on this strategy and the second one on a 2 pit stop strategy. But okay, we'll see about it. And let's go to the most easier and less complex track of this qualifying round, and this is Zandvoort. It's like nothing has changed for this GP. 4-3 medium soft, 3-4 soft medium, and that's it. I have tried with Tsar, which has +10 in tire management. I have tried to go soft, impossible. At this level, the drivers, I have Leclerc and Hamilton, epic at level 4. They cannot do 4 laps with the soft compound here, even with the biggest tire management boost. So, medium soft, 4-3 and 3-4. 3-4 probably for your first driver and 4-3 for your second driver. And of course here we need cornering. Merlion, Koopa, Tune In, Prince, Hook, Herald, Kawai, Movember, whatever you can think that will boost your corners, your cornering, and of course choose your boost, as I said, by thinking your other um, other stats that you're vulnerable, that you're not so good at. If you're not good at race start, then pick Herald for this track. If you are not good at speed, then use Merlion. If you need what? Let's see. If you need some overtaking, apart of from cornering that is needed in Zandvoort, then Koopa. Zandvoort needs cornering. The rest attributes, the rest stats that your boost will boost is up to you, is up to what's your setup, where you have the lower stats, where are the weaknesses, which are the weaknesses of your driver. Okay, so that's it. Oh man, we did it. Yes, we did it. I know I talked more than needed, probably, but it's, believe me, I have a lot more to tell you about boosts and strategies and how to choose boosts, but mainly have this in mind. We see the track, we know what it needs. It needs either cornering or speed, or both cornering and speed. Great. This is the first thing we have in mind when choosing our boosts. We see, let's say we are in a track that needs speed. We choose our speed boosts, all the speed boosts, and then we see our drivers and our car setup, which are our weaknesses. We focus on them, and by focusing on our weaknesses, we pick the right boost. We will find a boost that has speed and boosts some of our weaknesses. And that's it. This is how it's going to go this season. It's not only, okay, Kavai and P1, dead fast. Don't even think about it. No, if we have a car with great speed and high and very good power unit, but which is very bad in cornering, even at high speed tracks, we will need to boost our cornering. So everything, it's not black and white this season. At least this is what I can see at the moment. So stay tuned. We have a lot more to do to find out, and I think that in every video we are going to find even more new things on how to approach this. So let's see again. Come on, please. Okay, here we are. As you can see, Imola, Silverstone, Zandvoort, and again Imola, Silverstone, and second time in Imola, probably with rain. We have some interesting tracks in our opening and final round, but first of all, let's qualify to the racing weekend, and of course on Friday we are going to talk about opening and final round tracks. I know this was a lot, but it's the beginning of the season. We have a lot to say, we have a lot to talk about. I hope you liked the video. If so, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget that almost every day we have live sessions. We are live streaming our races. That's what we're going to do today. So stay tuned and see you next time. Bye.